The funny pages, specifically the Lib Dem manifesto in the Mail.
Here we go. US-style cannabis shops, return of EU freedom of movement, free social care and a $9.4 billion tax rate on bankers and the super rich. Ed Davey launches Lib Dem election manifesto before heading off to ride a roller coaster, which he's now famous for doing these ridiculous stunts.
Yeah.
This is the first manifesto from a major party, and they've picked out some sort of highlights there. What they've left off that list is the recognition in law of non-binary, which is a made-up identity, essentially, and as I said online earlier, but you might as well recognise unicorns or whatnot.
But that does feel like that's quite central to Lib Dem.
Well, I was going to give a little hot take here in that, and I believe I have some insight. But last election, 2019, I was very heavily campaigning for the Lib Dems as a member because I was trying to get Labour out in my area, the anti-Semitism. So I was all in on them. Hanging out a little bit with Lynn Featherstone, who was the former MP in that area, who had been the originator of the same-sex marriage bill, even under the coalition. And that was really their sort of pride and joy of the coalition, what the Lib Dems feel like they achieved. She pushed that through. I think, this is just a personal theory, that she's obviously very proud of that, kept on going on about it. I think that a lot of this stuff is her and the rest of the party thinking wrongly that the TQIA plus is the next step in that thing. When it's not, it's a totally separate thing. So I think that's why they've doubled down on it. They're meant to be the sensible party, and it makes them look incredibly stupid.
What do you think about these other measures, Nick?
Well, the big one, and it says it's buried 4 pages from the end, is that they want to go back into the EU single market.
Yeah.
They've always been very pro-rejoin, so they're going to alienate people with the policy Josh was just talking about. But the kind of voter they're probably looking at maybe doesn't care. It's a sort of somebody who might vote Labour, who wants to rejoin the EU, and they'll vote Lib Dem strategically in certain areas. But they've got various things in there, haven't they? They've got something about the military that's not mentioned.
Do you not think
free social care?
It's quite interesting. I mean, I don't. As a throw of the dice, I can understand why the Lib Dems would go, we're the only party that would look at rejoining the EU, because there's probably like a sizable constituency for that. But it is quite funny. It's come out literally the day after the EU has lurched so far to the right.
Or Europe, anyway. Yeah, exactly. That is the amusing irony of it. But
the question is, for me, is like, what impact are they really going to have? First of all, they're going to be fighting blue wall seats. That's going to affect the Tory vote. And also, is it the manifesto really is like, can it nudge the other parties one way or the other? Because obviously none of this stuff's really going to happen.
I mean, Ed Davey as a personality, the major taint on him is the post office scandal, I suppose. But other than that, he doesn't strike me as quite as...
I thought you were going to say the women clearly having a penis. That's the other thing.
No, I think actually, like, he's no worse than Starmer on that. That's just like a virus that's gone through 90% of humanity lately. Even Penny Mordaunt.
He has a pretty incredible story. His dad died when he was 4. His mother had
seems
cancer.
like a more authentic, conceivable than some of the ones they've had, of late. That strange
He's
woman.
no Paddy Ashton. The one thing I will say, it's impressive he goes around and gets on all these roller coasters. That's the bit I really couldn't do. They do the speeches. You've got to jump on a roller coaster and
whitewater rafting,
on a lilo and you.
Anyway,
it's going to escalate.